Which is better, the Samsung Galaxy A20 or the iPhone 6s? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my comparison between the Samsung Galaxy A20 and the iPhone 6s. Now this video is meant to answer the question of whether you should go with a newer budget phone or an older flagship device. Now before anyone comments that this isn't a fair comparison, Kevin, come on, it's not fair. It is fair. And actually, there's certain prepaid carriers like Metro by T-Mobile that are currently selling both of these phones right now for around the same price. So people are going to be going into those stores trying to decide which phone they should go for. So the purpose of this comparison is to give you a better idea of which one might be the better choice for you. Now, in addition to getting these at carriers, you can also buy these on Amazon, and I will be leaving links in the video description. So currently, you can get the international Samsung Galaxy A20 for around $169.99, and this iPhone 6s is from Amazon Renewed, and I paid just $119.99 for it. So it is a previously used device, and I'm not sure if this is a return or if this was a phone that someone used for a little bit and then somehow it ended up being listed as renewed. I'm not really sure the backstory of this particular phone, but it has been refurbished and is able to save a lot of money by going for it. Now, like I mentioned before, if you go to a carrier, you might be able to get either of these two phones for free if you port in your number from a different carrier. So it just depends on your particular situation for what you're going to be spending on either of these two phones. Now, the Samsung Galaxy A20 features a 6.4-inch display compared to the iPhone 6s's 4.7-inch display. So you can see the two phones are very different in display size, and especially if you put the bottoms of the two devices lined up, the display on the Samsung Galaxy A20 is significantly larger. Now, if you prefer a smaller display, maybe you want a phone that is easier to put in your pocket, then you might want to consider going with the iPhone 6s. Now, both phones do actually have a pretty similar width, despite the Galaxy A20 being a lot larger of a phone, and that's because you're getting a different aspect ratio with the display on the Galaxy A20. So with the A20, we're getting a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio, giving you kind of a thinner but taller form factor, compared to the iPhone 6s's 16 by 9 aspect ratio. Now with both phones, you are getting a display resolution at around 720p, so you're getting exactly 720p with the Galaxy A20, but you're getting 750 by 1334 with the iPhone 6s. Now with the Samsung Galaxy A20, we're getting AMOLED display technology, so a little bit different from the iPhone 6s, which features LCD. So you're going to be getting better colors overall and better viewing angles with the Galaxy A20 compared to the iPhone 6s. But both phones in general do have nice looking displays, so it's not like one is really good and the other is bad. They both do look good. Now up top here, we have some pretty big differences. So the Samsung Galaxy A20 features a water drop notch compared to a very thick top bezel on the iPhone 6s. And with the Galaxy A20, we're getting an 8 megapixel front-facing camera compared to the iPhone 6s's 5 megapixel front-facing camera. Both phones feature 32 gigabytes of internal storage, but with the Samsung Galaxy A20, we can put a microSD card up to 512 gigabytes into the phone to expand that capacity. But with the iPhone 6s, there is no microSD card slot, so you are limited to just the internal storage. Now, neither of these two phones feature wireless charging, which is to be expected because this is an older phone and this is a newer budget phone, but they do both have fingerprint sensors. So with the Galaxy A20, we do have a fingerprint sensor on the rear of the phone, and it's very quick. And then with the iPhone 6s, we have a fingerprint sensor built into the home button here, and that's also a very quick and responsive fingerprint sensor. So very cool there with both phones. Now with the Samsung Galaxy A20, we get portrait mode with both the front and rear cameras. But with the iPhone 6s, there is no portrait mode. And with the Samsung Galaxy A20, we get a triple camera setup on the back. So we get a 13 megapixel main camera and a 5 megapixel secondary camera to assist with that portrait mode. But in addition to that, the 5 megapixel camera is also an ultra wide angle camera, so you can take ultra wide angle photos. But with the iPhone 6s, we just have a single 12 megapixel camera on the rear. So I'll give you a quick demonstration right now showing you the benefits of having an ultra wide angle camera on your device. So I'll pull up the camera apps. So here are the cameras on both phones. Now you can see that photos do seem to be a bit brighter and clearer with the iPhone 6s. And I definitely recommend that you check out my complete reviews on both devices, which is coming out soon for the iPhone 6s. I'm going to do a fresh, brand new review for this phone, but you'll see detailed photo and video analyses in both of those videos. But I just wanted to show you here what you can do with the wide angle camera. So of course there is no wide angle camera with the iPhone 6s. But with the Galaxy A20, I can just tap right here and it switches over to that camera. And you can see that you can fit significantly more content into the frame here. So that's great if you want to take a photo of a group, or maybe you're on vacation or something and you want to take a photo of a bunch of buildings or scenery. That's really where the ultra wide angle camera comes in handy. So definitely a really cool feature to have, and something that I personally value quite a bit. Now with the Samsung Galaxy A20, we get 3 gigs of RAM compared to 2 gigs of RAM with the iPhone 6s. With the Samsung Galaxy A20, we're getting Samsung's Exynos 7884 processor compared to the Apple A9 processor with the iPhone 6s. So I did run an Antutu benchmark test with both phones to show you what the performance is like. And I'll pull those up right now. And you can see with the Galaxy A20, I got a total score of 119,222 compared to a score of 189,605 with the iPhone 6s. So you are getting a better Antutu benchmark score with the iPhone 6s. Now, of course, the benchmark scores don't mean everything, but from my general experience of using both phones, they both perform nicely, especially for their price. So I've been very pleased with both overall. Now video recording with the Samsung Galaxy A20 maxes out at 1080p with the rear camera, and with the iPhone 6s, you can take video at 2160p, which is 4K, at 30 FPS with the rear camera. So that's really cool. And as far as battery capacity goes, with the Samsung Galaxy A20, we're getting a beefy 4,000 milliamp hour internal battery compared to a fairly small 1,715 milliamp hour internal battery with the iPhone 6s. Now, as far as software goes, with the Samsung Galaxy A20, we're getting Android 9 Pie, which is actually an older version of Android, and the phone is due to be updated to Android 10 in May. That's what Samsung has promised. And the iPhone 6s has already been updated to the most recent version of iOS, which is iOS 13. Now, supposedly, the iPhone 6s will also be getting iOS 14, so that's really cool. And I really doubt that the Galaxy A20 will be getting Android 11. I think Android 10 will be the last version of Android that we do get with this device. Now, of course, I'd love to see it get many future versions of Android in the future, but we'll have to see. Now, as far as the hardware and design of the two devices goes, there's no doubt that the Samsung Galaxy A20 is the more attractive phone of the two. You're getting a much better screen-to-body ratio with the Samsung Galaxy A20. You're getting that water drop notch at the top, giving you a very good screen-to-body ratio. And then at the bottom, we do have a little bit of a thicker bottom bezel there, but it's nowhere near as thick as the bezel on the iPhone 6s. Now, for some people, it might be nice having that fingerprint sensor and home button on the front of the device here with the iPhone 6s. It really just comes down to your personal preference. But I know for me personally, I like having the largest display possible in the smallest form factor. And I feel like overall, you're getting a better experience in that sense with the Samsung Galaxy A20. Now, as far as viewing video on both devices goes, they are of course both limited at 720p due to the display resolution. But I do really like this Super AMOLED display on the Samsung Galaxy A20. Certainly a really nice touch on this phone. Now, taking a look at the left side of the two phones. On the Galaxy A20, we do have a plastic band running around the sides of the device, and on the rear, we have plastic too. But with the iPhone 6s, we have a more premium metal band running around the sides of the phone, which does wrap onto the back of the device. So no doubt the iPhone is a bit more premium compared to the Galaxy A20, but at the same time, the A20 does feel like a very solid phone. Now, on the left side of both phones, on the Galaxy A20, we have the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. And then with the iPhone 6s, we have the mute switch and we have the volume buttons. Then on the right side of the two phones, on the Galaxy A20, we have the power button and volume button. And on the iPhone 6s, we have the power button and slot for the SIM card. Then on the top of the two phones, on the Galaxy A20, we have the noise canceling microphone and nothing else. And on the iPhone 6s, we have nothing. And then on the bottom of the two phones, on the Samsung Galaxy A20, we have the speaker, we have the microphone, we have the USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. And with the iPhone 6s, we have the speaker, we have the Lightning port for charging and data transfer, we have the microphone, and we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. So I certainly like that we do get USB-C with the Galaxy A20. I'm a big fan of USB-C. I've said that a lot here on the channel in the past and present. And definitely I can't wait for the day that Apple does finally switch over their iPhones to USB-C, but hopefully it's sooner than later. Now on the rear of the two phones, we of course have more of a glossy finish with the Galaxy A20 compared to a matte finish with the iPhone 6s. And then we have the camera modules, we have the flash, and then with the Galaxy A20, we do have that fingerprint sensor on the back. So a bit different of designs here on the rear of the two phones, and you're definitely getting more camera functions and abilities with the Galaxy A20 compared to the iPhone 6s. Of course, back when the iPhone 6s was first launched, it had leading cameras that were probably better than most other smartphones out there. But since then, we've gotten so many other new features with smartphones, such as gaining an ultra wide angle camera and then portrait mode too. So I know that portrait mode really has emerged to be a very popular feature on all smartphones. And originally, it was a feature that we only really found with flagships, but over time, more and more devices have gained that feature, which is definitely a great thing. Now, if you're big into Instagram, let me show you how Instagram performs on these two phones. First, I'll show you Instagram on the Galaxy A20. So you can see it's a nice big display here. You can see a lot of content here in the display. And in fact, I do want to pull it up at the same time on the iPhone 6s so that you can see the difference. So you can see that with the Galaxy A20, thanks to it having a larger display at a taller aspect ratio, it fits significantly more content into the display itself. So for example, up here, up top, in the Stories section, you can actually see 5 icons compared to just 4.5 icons with the iPhone 6s. And then in addition to that, you can see I have the same post pulled up on both phones. And with the Galaxy A20, you can see more of the description and some of the comments, whereas with the iPhone 6s, you are pretty much cut off partially through the description there. So a little thing that might be a big deal to some people, it just depends. So scrolling is pretty smooth with the Galaxy A20, so not too bad there. And then scrolling with the iPhone 6s does feel a bit smoother, to be honest, but Instagram does work pretty well on both devices, so it's not like it's really bad on one and way better on another. So keep that in mind. But you are, of course, getting a better experience by being able to fit more content into the display here with the Galaxy A20. So an interesting little test there of the two devices. Let's now do a speed test comparison between these two phones. So we're going to start by pulling up the camera. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like the iPhone 6s is a little bit quicker at pulling up the camera. The next thing we're going to do is pull up the web browsers. So in this version of the Galaxy A20, it actually came with Chrome as the default web browser. I know that there are different versions of the phone that come with Samsung's internet browser as the default, but for this test, we'll do Chrome versus Safari. So 1, 2, 3, go. And definitely a bit quicker there with the iPhone 6s at pulling up the favorites here. Let's now go to Yahoo. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like it was a little bit quicker with the iPhone 6s. Next, we're going to go to Engadget. So 1, 2, 3, go. And very fast at pulling up Engadget there with the iPhone 6s and a bit slower with the Galaxy A20. And the site is pulled up on both phones here. We'll try out scrolling right now. So there's scrolling on the Galaxy A20, scrolling on the iPhone 6s. I'll let you be the judge there of which device was able to scroll through the site more smoothly. But I think it works pretty well on both phones, for sure. Let's pull up one more page here. We'll go to this one. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like it was a little bit quicker on the iPhone 6s. Now, I know people like to comment that I pulled up one site quicker than the other because I tapped on one faster than the other. Well, guess what? I'm human, so I can't always be perfect. Maybe I can build a machine one day where I can do this test that way, but for now, this is the best I have. Now you can see the colors of the displays side by side. You can judge on your own which device has the better colors of the two. I think overall both look good. It looks like we're getting a little bit more natural colors though with the Galaxy A20. So overall, I hope you enjoyed this comparison between the Samsung Galaxy A20 and iPhone 6s. If you do want to buy either of these two phones, take a look at the link in the video description. In general, I would say that both phones do offer their own pros and cons. Now, of course, you're getting way more camera functionalities with the Samsung Galaxy A20 compared to the iPhone 6s. So in that sense, the A20 is the better phone of the two, but you're most likely going to be getting better software support with the iPhone 6s because the phone will at least be getting iOS 14 and maybe even iOS 15. But with the Galaxy A20, we don't really get security updates that often, and then we're also pretty behind on getting Android 10, which is supposed to come in May. And I'm pretty sure after Android 10, we won't be getting any more versions of Android with the Galaxy A20. So if software support is important to you, you might want to choose the 6s instead. And then when it comes to general performance, I would say it's pretty much a tie. In some ways, the A20 is better, but in other ways, the iPhone 6s runs better. Definitely got a better benchmark score though with the iPhone 6s compared to the Galaxy A20. And then finally, when it comes to overall design and display quality, I would say that the Galaxy A20 is way better than the iPhone 6s. You're getting a way larger display. It's AMOLED instead of LCD, which is another bonus here. And overall, it just looks really sharp. And you're getting a way better screen to body ratio with the Samsung Galaxy A20 as well. Now, if you do want something a bit more pocketable, go for the iPhone 6s, but the Galaxy A20, despite being a bigger phone, is still a decently pocketable device because it is pretty similar in width, just a bit taller compared to the iPhone 6s. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know which phone you like. And again, take a look at the links in the video description to learn more about these various phones on Amazon. But this is Kevin here. This is the Samsung Galaxy A20, and this is the iPhone 6s, and I'll see you in the next video.